So we're trying to get the body, this part of the body, it's like, yeah, something's trying to grab my back and scratch at me, and you know how you arch your back, okay? So you're trying to pull yourself away, so you would thrust your chest out further in order to get away from that thing. You might be looking back, so if you wanted to, you could have your character, you know, looking back over their shoulder. Like that, as they're running. Okay? So attitude of the body is attached to the emotional context and whether they're running away from something or towards something. So if you're happy, okay, and you see someone that you love and they're at the airport and you want to run towards them, you know, you're going to run towards them probably with more of a forward attitude on the body. So still using that same iconic leg position, which again, you don't necessarily have to use this extreme of position here. It depends again on how far you're going to take that emotion and how big you want your stride to be. Okay? But someone who is in love with someone and they're trying to get to them, they might have more of this type of a body attitude, where they're leaning forward towards whatever it is. International symbol for love. Okay? So they'd be running towards the object of their desire. Right? If they're angry, they would probably have more of an aggressive stance. So yes, they would be leaning forward, but perhaps you would hunch them over a little bit more. Again, back to our international symbol for run. More of the hunt pose. Okay. So you have to start to think about what it is that your character's emotional context is and what's the attitude in the body going to be, and then you have to make adjustments to this curvature here to decide how aggressive or how subtle you're going to be with it. All right? So I'm not saying you have to go to this extreme here. You could have a run where the character is very happy about whatever it is that they're running towards, but they're doing more of a prancing run. It's more of a high point up and down where the legs are kicking up higher, okay? Which won't have as much of a spread on it. It'll be a shorter distance that they're running. The knees will be more compacted into the body. Okay, so it will change the attitude of it as well. Right? Now we also have to consider the arms too. What are you going to do with the arms? So in something like this, where the character is running away from something, what you may want to do is you may want to put that desperation feel into it, where the character is trying to grab onto something in front of them. And so they've got their hands out like this in front of them. Yeah, running that way. Okay? Or you may want to use the actual arms to propel the character and get the arms kicking at the same time that the legs are going. So I'll leave that up to you. All right? You can have the legs, arms static, or you can have them actually pumping. Okay? So, in this pose here, if we've got this symbol for the legs again, and we'll say that this is the far leg, this is the close leg here, we want to work the arms in opposition to each other. So therefore that means that with this body posture here, the character looking back behind them this way, that the arm that's closest to us will be in front, and the arm that's furthest away from us will be behind, back like this. All right? So this is the leg that's farthest away. This would be the crotch open towards us. Okay, the proportions are all off for my character, but that's the idea. And then when you torque the character into the opposite point, into the opposite pose for this, I'm going to punch sheet of paper here. You still have to work out the perspective of where your horizon line is, where your vanishing point is, and plot out where your knees will end up being so that you don't get an exact twinning position on the part of the body. When you torque the body to the opposite, you're going to twist your torso around so that the center line is coming across there and twisting the body in that direction. So see how the hips now rotate on that center line? So you want to get that pivoting action taking place in the hips. Right? And then the same thing goes for the arms. We'd have the opposite arm here. This arm would be back further than this one here in perspective because it's closer to us. So this arm would be back like this, and this arm would be forward. In opposition. Okay? And then you figure out what your mid-stride position is going to be, how the foot's going to plant, and how quick the foot is going to be coming back. But don't forget, there's got to be the up and down action taking place in the whole thing, and I want to see overlapping action as well. So if you're going to pump the arms, you're not going to have any overlapping action in the arms. They're just going to be pumping away with the legs. However, if you go back to this pose here, where you've got the hands straight out in front, I do want to see the overlapping action of the hands going up and down to the body like this. Right? There's got to be that subtle seaweed. The arms can still be stiff, but as the body goes up, the arms are going to drag behind it. As the body goes down, they're going to drag, so you'll get this type of a seaweed action, but it can still be straight. You don't have to curve it. Right? It depends again on the attitude of the character. Right? If you want to, I mean, you can have your character scared. If you want, you could even go to this type of a pose here. And this is where I'm leaving this flexible, the whole idea of what you want to do completely up to you based on how far you're going to take this emotion. So let's say your character goes into this pose here with the legs, and you've got the arms up here. Your character doesn't have to be facing back. As a matter of fact, for what I'm going to do here, it's better if the character faces forward, because I'm going to put the arms straight up in the air. The character's just got his hands flailing in the air like this, straight up above his head as he's running. Okay, same idea is going to have to take place. You're still going to have to get this going, but the other thing you could do is you could have his arms going, Wah! He's just scrambling his arms all over the place. Okay, and that could just be random poses of his arms where they're just Wah! To make it really jumbled, like he's frantically scared. Okay, and he's actually screaming, so you would open up his mouth. And he's like, ah! But his arms are just all akimbo, is the term for it. All right? So you could have an arm that's up like this, and this one would be out here in this direction here. Then the very next drawing, you could bend the arm down like this, so it makes it look like it's bending down. But then the next one, you could straighten it straight out this way over here. And then the next one, you could bend it forward into this position, or bend it up like that. So the arms are just going all over the place, randomly, right? And it'll give it a very frantic type of a feel, right? So again, explore the ideas of what it is that you want. Think of what you want to express, okay? Take it to whatever extreme position you want to. Yep?
Do you keep the character's face the exact same? Well?
Yeah, it's simpler if you just keep the expression the same all the way through, okay? Because we only have 8 drawings here. But again, it depends on the type of emotion that you're going to be trying to get across to the audience. So if the character's in love and they're very happy, okay, then your run cycle is going to be slightly slower, right, than an 8 drawing cycle. Because an 8 drawing cycle is like, it's like that fast, okay? It's twice the speed of what your normal your 16 drawing walk cycle was. So if your character is in love, they're not going to be necessarily going like this. They might be going like this. Right? With a little bit more of a delay at the high point. And the swishing action on the leg when it touches the ground will be fast, and then it hovers in the air and comes down. So you could even do that type of a run. Okay? But that's based on the timing, which is what we talked about last week. Remember we played around with the timing on the crazy walk and how I had the leg kick out and hold for longer? Same idea. You just have the character hover higher, ease into that position, and leave the legs out like that, and then it comes down fast, whoosh, down into the foot down position and swish back hard and then kick up high. So all your drawings, the bulk of your drawings will all be in the high point position as you ease the character up and then down hard, down hard, down hard, down hard, right? So you could do something like that as well. Okay. So think about the different types of emotions: happy, sad. A sad run will probably be more droopy and like duh, 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 duh. Or even, well, I wouldn't say you could shuffle the character because you can't really have the character drag their feet, although you could show a little bit of a drag on it, but it'd be more like a bo, 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 bo type of a run, right? So it's going to be a little bit slower as well. If the character is angry, very aggressive, you're going to go with faster. It's like, going to get to whoever I'm going after. Okay?
Only 8 frames.
8 drawings.
8 drawings.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll have your 2 primary, your 2 opposing drawings like these 2 here. Then you'll have your 2 opposing foot plant positions, and then 1 drawing in between each one. Okay? As a minimum. That's the minimum number of drawings. Okay? But like I said, as you get into more of the loping type of a run, you could actually have a 16 drawing run cycle. Okay? That could work. But now you have to start to think, how do I want my character, and start acting it out. So it's the same thing as what we did with the crazy walk cycle. You have to walk up and down the hallway, get a sense of how your character is moving, what the opposition points are, what's the contact point. So start running up and down the hallway. Right? It'd be great, you know, if you're doing the scared one, run up and down the hall screaming like you're scared. Have someone right behind you, angry, running after you. Okay? So try it out, all right? Get a sense of what the emotional context is and what's your body attitude in the whole thing.